Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Respiratory System by Dr. Muhammad Fawzi, Anatomy Department, Faculty of Medicine, Cairo University. The human respiratory system is a series of organs responsible for taking in oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. The main functions of the respiratory system are: number one, inhalation and exhalation are pulmonary ventilation, which means breathing. Number two, external respiration exchanges gas between lungs and the bloodstream. Number three, internal respiration exchanges gases between the bloodstream and the body tissues. Number four, smelling. The respiratory system consists of the nose and the paranasal sinuses, pharynx, larynx, trachea, and both lungs. And now let's talk about the parts of the respiratory system. We will talk about two main points. The point number one is the anatomical structure, and I will talk about the anatomical structure of each part of the respiratory system. Number two, functions of this part. The nose is formed of external nose and the nasal cavity. Let's talk about the external nose, which is pyramidal in shape, having apex and root, and is formed of upper bony part and the lower cartilaginous part. And the nasal cavity, there are two nasal cavities separated from each other by nasal septum. Each cavity opens on the face through the anterior nasal opening and opens posteriorly in the nasopharynx through the posterior nasal opening. Each nasal cavity is partially divided by three curved bony projections from the lateral wall, dividing the nasal cavity into meatus, superior meatus, middle meatus, and inferior meatus by three conchae, superior, middle, and inferior conchae. The functions of the nose. The mucous membrane covering the nasal cavity is supplied by the olfactory nerve. So the main function of the nose is smell. Number two, filtration and warming of the air. Number three, magnification and the turbulence of the inspired air. Paranasal sinuses, they are air-filled spaces in the skull bone surrounding the nose, pneumatic bones, and open into the nasal meatus. ودي في الحقيقة اللي احنا بنقول عليها او ترجمتها بالعربي الجيوب الأنفية. كتير قوي مننا بيكون عنده التهاب في الجيوب الأنفية او حساسية في الجيوب الأنفية. هي عبارة عن مجموعة من العظم تحتوي على هواء كويس، ودي ليها وظائف متعددة هنقولها في السلايد الجاي. بتفتح في النوز and they are lined by mucous membrane. The paranasal sinuses are the frontal nasal sinuses which present in the frontal bone, the ethmoidal paranasal sinuses which are present in the ethmoidal bone, maxillary paranasal sinuses which are present in the maxillary bone, and the sphenoidal paranasal sinuses which present in the body of the sphenoid. The functions of the paranasal sinuses: it decreases the weight of the skull. وجود يا جماعة العظم أو النيوماتيك بون، إن يبقى فيه عظم جوه السكال مليان بالهواء، اللي هي نيوماتيك بون air filled bones. It decreases the weight of the skull، بتخلي وزن السكال أخف جدا. Number two, it increases the voice resonance، بيبقى فيه صدى للصوت أثناء التحدث، وده مهم جدا عندنا للناس اللي عندها التهاب في الجيوب الأنفية، زي اللي هو المسمى بالنيزل ساينسايتس او البارانيزال ساينسايتس او الساينسايتس. ده ما بيقدرش ان هو يسمع صوته، وبالتالي بيحس فيه مشكله في الصوت عنده. Number three, they act as air cushions for brain, eye, and pituitary gland. وده معناه ان وجود وسائل هوائيه حوالين الاجزاء المهمه في السكال بتحميها لو حد خد صدمه في السكال. فالنيوماتيك بون بيابزورب الشوك او بيابزورب الصدمه، فيقلل تاثير الصدمه على الامبورتنت ستراكشرز. The third part of the respiratory system is the larynx. The larynx is the organ of the voice, and it also acts as an air passage. A larynx consists of 9 cartilages, 3 paired cartilages and 3 single cartilages connected to each other by membranes, ligaments, and moved by special muscles. The larynx, it extends from the root of the tongue to the level of the C6 vertebra. The larynx is composed of single and paired cartilages connected to each other, as you see in the diagrams. The single cartilages and the paired cartilages. The single cartilages are big ones, and the paired cartilages are small ones. They are all connected, as you see in the diagram, by membranes and are moved by special muscles. They are connected to each other by ligaments, membranes, and moved by special muscles. The single cartilages are the epiglottis, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and the paired cartilages are cuneiform cartilages, corniculate cartilages, and arytenoid cartilage. The functions of the larynx are passage of the airway. It transmits air from nose and oral cavity down to the trachea, and it is an organ of voice. It contains, as you see in the diagram, vocal cords. Number 3, reflex expulsion of the foreign body. لو في أي foreign body دخل air passage فبيحصل reflex expulsion إن هو يطرد foreign body. Trachae, the fourth part of the respiratory system. It is continuous above with the larynx and extend down to divide into 2 bronchi. Each bronchus to one to the right bronchus, or the right bronchus to the right lung, and the left bronchus to the left lung. The trachea is a patent tube, and it is maintained patent by the tracheal rings, which are 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilages. It lies in the middle line of the neck. Part of the trachea is lying in the lower part of the neck, and the other part in the upper part of the thorax. The fifth part of the respiratory system are lungs. We have 2 lungs, right lung and left one. Each lung is nearly half cone-shaped structure, having an apex, as you see in the diagram, and the base below. And each lung has 2 surfaces: the medial concave surface and the lateral convex surface. The medial concave surface containing the hilum, through which the structure enter and come out from the lung, like the bronchus, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein. This is the costal surface and the medial surface of the lung. This is the costal surface which is directed toward the ribs, and this is the medial surface where is the hilum of the lung. The differences between the right and left lungs is very important question. It's very important issue. As you see, in the right lung there is different from the left one. The right lung is short and wide, and the left one is narrow and long. The weight of the right lung is about 625 grams. The weight of the left one is 565 grams. The right lung is divided into 3 loops by 2 fissures. The 3 loops are upper loop, middle loop, and lower loop, by horizontal fissure and oblique fissure. The left one consists or divided into 2 loops, upper loop and the lower loop, by only 1 oblique fissure. The right lung has 10 segments. The left one has 8 segments. There is a cardiac notch on the left one. There is no cardiac notch on the right one. It's very important question. The question enumerate differences between right and left lung. ده من الاسئله المهمه قوي اللي هي بتيجي في الامتحانات العملي الكتير. ازاي نفرق ما بين الرايت اند الليفت لانجز. في الجدول البسيط اللي عندك في الكتاب اللي مكون من 6 نقط تقدر ان انت تكتبهم كويس. Thank you so much. See you ان شاء الله. وكل سنه وانتم طيبين.